Cheers.
Episode 4.
At the bottom. Watch out.
Okay.
Welcome, Neela.
Welcome,
Neela.
Hi, Neela.
What a great person we have today.
Yes.
What a way to finish 2019.
Right? With the perfect guest.
Thank you for having me.
Episode 4. Thank you so much for being here. Elvie the Realtor. I get to check in first. So today we have the wonderful honor of featuring Neela with Orchid Home Staging.
Yes. Correct.
And we're super excited. Before we give her a chance to introduce herself, I'm going to let the boss babes check in.
Yes.
And then, Mila, you set it off.
Okay. All right. This is Lena Torres,
Easy Sarcos.
Gabby,
Whitney Hall.
And Stephanie Martinez.
thank you for
Tuning in.
Welcome.
And Mila, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you for having me. Finally.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
Yes.
We are honored.
We are.
You are an amazing boss, babe, because you own your own staging company. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So back in 2018, actually, at the end of 2018, my close friend and I have launched our staging company, Orchid Home Staging. So it's been just a little bit over a year. And it was quite a journey, as you all know, when you first start out, your business, or if you're self-employed and you go on your own venture, it can get stressful, but at the end of the day, it's exciting, when you see the growth of yourself and your company, it's an amazing feeling. So besides Orchid Home Staging, I also do interior design. So this year, actually, at the same time as we started Orchid Home Staging last year, this year at the same time, I launched my own company in interior design, so where I help clients to transform their homes.
What's that called?
Designed by Mila.
Designed by Mila.
Yeah. It's on Instagram too, guys.
Designed by Mila.
Can
And
you tell her your Instagram handle?
Yes, so you can find us at Orchid Home Staging. That's our staging company Instagram page, and Designed by Mila is my interior design page as well.
Very nice.
Yeah,
So Mila, how did you get into stage? Like, what brought you into design? And then you have a background. Did you go to?
So how it happened? I was in real estate.
Okay.
And I believe right before this whole inspiration of home staging happened, we actually remodeled our first home, my fiance and I, and that
Beautiful.
was back
I love it.
Yeah.
By the way, they
I've
have a
seen
beautiful
videos.
home,
Yeah.
and
Beautiful.
they cook
Transformed it.
like he cooks amazing.
Yes,
so does
shout out
she.
to Mo.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mo.
Thank you,
Picture
thank
of
you.
a realtor.
Do you have a video of your home? Like, have you showcased to the public your home?
Yeah.
So
she
actually,
has
I
pictures.
am. Most of my work is on my Instagram page and Facebook page, but I am actually finishing up building my website for Designed by Mila, which I supposed to launch today, hopefully.
Yay.
And it takes time to put all the before and after photos, so that's what I've been working on, just trying to edit and post. And
Yes.
so my website, designedbymila.com, is going to be live, I think, today. That's my goal.
Amazing.
And then it's going to have before and after photos of my projects that eventually I'm going to post as I go, and all the projects that I do of before and afters, they're going to be there. So you can see the transformation, because
Congratulations.
that's
Yeah.
what people love.
Want
They
to
love the
see.
transformation of, and there is nothing better than before and after.
Exactly.
So, but going back to how I started, we remodeled our home, and then we're gonna have you in our house because we just finished our backyard. And
Oh,
It's
nice.
beautiful.
That's awesome.
yeah, because Gabby came last time, but
So beautiful.
none of
I've
you
been
guys. Yeah, but you've been there.
A couple of
But
times.
you haven't
They have
been
the best
with-
wine too.
And they live like 3 minutes down from my house, so I love
Yeah.
it. They're right there.
That's awesome.
So we're
Very
gonna
close.
have the boss babes take over Mo and
Mo and
Mila's
Mila's
house.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
because-
podcast from there.
Yeah.
That'd be cute.
Yes.
So today's topic
Yes.
is how to make your home look like a model home. Because I haven't been
Tell
to
me
your
about
home,
it.
but I've seen pictures and
It looks
Yeah.
like a model.
I was picking
Yeah.
your brain a little bit, and Mila gives incredible suggestions about budget-friendly options. So
very, very cool. So to go along with our topic, we have a set of, really important questions,
Sure.
right?
No, we
That
came
can, help those of you out there that are watching or listening, and also help ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
To make our homes more appealing, have more feng shui and flow, and So
I'm sure you all have beautiful homes. You are beautiful people, and we are what we have, right? We reflect whatever we have inside.
Our
We
homes
reflect
are
on the
reflection.
outside. So I'm sure you are beautiful people, and you have beautiful homes.
Aside from home staging, I do want to give you a little props. You have like this very cool, like different kind of like style.
Fashion.
So,
Yes.
you're I don't know, everything
vibe.
like about the
Thank
way
you.
you dress. I like it. I like it a lot.
Actually, I used to sew.
Really?
So before I actually
She was
got
telling
into
the background. There's a background.
Oh,
Can
I'm
you
sorry.
finish?
yeah, you started asking questions.
Let me finish my background.
Sorry.
How do you get started
Yes, yes,
into
yes.
what you're doing?
Let's
right
go
now?
back.
Let's go back again.
But
One more
This
time.
happens to us all
Let
the
her
time,
talk.
okay?
But to answer your question as far as the fashion is, because I used to sew, and actually I made my own dresses at some point, and I actually wanted to go into
That's
fashion
amazing.
industry.
I can see that.
I think overall, like I like transformation. I like to create. I like to work with my hands, and that's what fulfills me. So when I used to sew like dresses, and I would do it on my floor till like midnight, and but it didn't go anywhere because it is a little bit tedious.
Yeah.
It's very detailed oriented.
Yes.
And I don't think I was at the point where I can be, fashion designer, have my own team. So, it's I have to
Come to terms.
yes, and do interior design. So back to the story, how it all started. That my fiance and I have remodeled our first home that we purchased back in 2017, and when you purchase a home, you look at certain things like the structure of the home, the layout, the backyard. So for example, to us, nature means a lot, and when we're purchasing a home, what sold us was the nature. It was, mature trees, gorgeous landscaping,
Lake
pool.
view.
Well, at the time we did not have.
I remember
That
that.
story's
That was
funny.
out there.
Yeah, at that time we didn't, but I projected it, right? And I'm like, okay, I want the lakefront, and it happened. It happened like right after the hurricane happened. We ended up with the waterfront view. So
Wow.
we manifested, and then. So we completely remodeled our home, which was not our intention, because every time people look at the before photos, they say there was nothing wrong with the house. Like I would have moved in the way it was. It was nice, which it was remodeled by the previous owner, just not to our taste. So we decided to, with our vision, I guess, just take it to another level, and that's what happened. And we completely remodeled 180 degrees, and then people start coming to your house and they say, "Oh, why don't you come to my house now? Can you help me to decorate?"
Exactly.
So that's how I started. It was more on a personal level of just friends and neighbors, which actually after the neighbors started coming to our house, then the neighbors started saying, "Oh, Mo, can you come to my house and let's remodel my house?"
Yes.
And then I'll come and finish off more on the decoration part. So we did, some transformations in our own neighborhood. We had that influence, positive
amazing.
influence. So, it probably broke the budget of our neighbors, but it still impact was positive. So it's good to change things here and there. And then I never took it on, to a professional level at that point, because I was just doing it for fun, helping people, helping friends. And one day I came across this class for Realtors about home staging. And I called Mo and I said, "Baby," I said, "there is this class, should I take it?" He goes, "Yeah, go for it. I think you have a touch. Just go find out what it is."
Yeah.
So it was a 3-day class for Realtors, and you guys actually, I suggest that you all take it next time when they are in Orlando.
Let us know.
It's very informative. You're gonna have a lot of fun. It doesn't feel like it's been 3 days. Like it's just you enjoy it. And then on the 3rd day, you actually get to stage a house. So
Wow.
yeah, they take
That's
you to a
fun.
house. Let's say the people who are ready
Can
to
I
sell
sign
their
up?
home.
You guys stage
Yes.
my house.
Yeah, if you want to stage your house.
I am so zero create. Like I'm not
Can
gonna
you
do
do it
somebody
for me?
harm. Like I'm good. Like,
I have no idea.
But you're gonna
I'll
have a
hire
teacher.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a
always
teacher,
ask
and
me-
they're
my
gonna
friends always
guide
ask
you.
me to help them with their house and decorations and stuff, so I
Well-
do enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we
Just
did
3
that.
days?
It's a
So
3-day
what do you
course.
do?
It's mostly just, they teach you a little bit of common concepts, I guess, how home staging appeared and how this whole concept was founded and the tips and what you have to do. And so we're going to
That's
talk
awesome.
about it
Yeah,
today,
we are.
about those tips when you want to sell a house. What do you do from A to Z?
Exactly.
And then on the 3rd day of that course, we got to stage a home. So you actually feel, like, oh my God, what should I do? And and you work with owners' things. So the owner leaves the house, and you're there, and you're supposed to open the drawers and move
Work
things
with
around.
their stuff.
And believe me, you're gonna
Wow.
find so many gorgeous, nice
Pieces.
things that they just hide in their drawers. They don't even know about it, and then we'll pull them out, we'll put them on the table, and then so when the lady came back, the owner, she was like, "Oh my God!" Like she didn't want to sell the house. and then
No, you signed the
Love it or
contract.
list it.
it was truly like a flip or flop type
Yes.
of. What's that show?
Love it or
Love it or
Love
Leave
it or
It.
Leave It.
I love
Love it.
Oh my God, that was exactly how it was. Like she was so impressed, and
You can
she's like,
change
I
your
never
place
thought about
around.
it.
Do you
Yeah.
get
So
to
impactful.
talk
It-
to
it
the,
just-
the person before fixing their, like, to get to know them a little bit? Because have you ever had, I mean,
Yeah.
you do an amazing job, but have you ever had somebody that's like, what the hell
This
is
is not
What
my
that?
happened?
style.
Like, I didn't like
This
it.
is not my style. Do you get to talk to them first? Or
So you're talking about like when we stage homes.
We're getting
So
into the questions.
oh my
Isis.
God,
We have
I'm
questions.
sorry. Okay. Lily, go ahead.
She's like,
This is so
it's
good.
okay. One
I
thing
am
will
so
lead to the
excited
other.
right now. I'm
Yeah,
so excited.
it's just like a flow.
sorry.
Like,
Such a fun topic. You
Yes.
know?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because home overall is a good subject. It relates to every human being on this planet. Real estate is what? It's homes, right? We work with buyers who want to purchase a home or seller who wants to sell a home, go to another home. It all rotates around a home. So
Yes.
transformation of a home is important. And I think that now with the influence of HDTV shows, it made a
popular.
tremendous change in people's minds that now all of a sudden this boom, people
Yes.
follow Instagram pages of designers and little tips and how to decorate and people do a lot of things on their own.
Yeah.
I follow
No.
them, but I just don't have like the creativity.
Your
So I was like,
beautiful.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know how to do
She
that.
got the perfect
just like-
canvas. She got the
Yes.
perfect canvas now because you just moved.
That's
it
why
and
Mila
I-
is coming.
I'm here
Yeah,
to help you
I
guys.
told her
and-
before,
Perfect.
like way before I built the house, I was like, Mila, you have to come to my house.
Before you even start
Because,
shopping.
You know, let me tell
Yeah,
you something
yeah.
a little bit too. They have staged probably like 3 properties for me already, and
Of your
she's like
flips,
amazing.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Well, going to what Isis was saying, you do kind of want to see what the personality is like, their taste, right? To see kind of like.
So how? Okay, so we
Uh-huh.
jump into the
Yeah.
questions because I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's a good
No. Yeah. So because, for example, like, what questions do you ask them? Like, do you get to sit down with them and they tell you kind of what they want, or do you just,
Take
maybe you have some
over.
clients like do whatever you want.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so home staging is divided into 2 categories. You have occupied home staging, where the owner lives in the home, and you have vacant, where it's just there is no furniture, nothing, just a vacant home. Which majority of the homes, I would say, occupied, right? Because sellers usually live in the
Live
home.
there.
But we mostly work with vacant homes. But we've staged a few occupied homes, and this is how it works. So with occupied home staging, because people still live in the home, they're so personally attached
To
to a
them.
place, just like anybody, right? If somebody comes to my house and tells me things, I'm probably going to get offended or get sensitive. But what I always say is that it's not your home anymore. You have to disattach yourself because this is going to be a product
What's
that's going to
going to
go on
sell
the
the
market. It's
Yeah.
not your home anymore, it's somebody else's. So what you like is not necessarily what all these buyers who are going to come like.
Right.
On the other hand, they might even dislike what you like, right?
Yeah.
Because we all have different tastes. So we have to just educate the sellers
Right.
and we explain to them that what we're going to do on our part as professionals is we're going to prepare that home and make a product out of it, right? So we have to depersonalize And that's why I think we're going to talk about, those tips how to get your home ready
to sell.
Is going to be those things where you have to depersonalize yourself, right? By removing all the personal photos. But we're going to go into detail. But to answer the question, what do they say about the style or?
For example,
we don't
Lena,
give them
Lena, that
option.
she's not selling her house. It's her house, and like she's your client now, and she wants you to stage it. What type of
That's not a home staging.
Oh no,
That's
that's
interior design.
That's interior design.
That's a difference.
Like,
so
if I was going to list my house,
for sale.
if I was going to list my house, it would be a home staging.
See?
And there's this misconception. Sometimes home sellers feel like when you come as a home stager and you want to stage the home, they think it's an interior design. It's not.
It's not.
Interior design is a personalized concept where I'm going to cater to your tastes.
Yeah.
Home staging is making it neutral,
And
right?
functionable.
Ready for sale.
Right, to show to prepare that property so it actually shows more space than it is.
Shows well.
That's why we use certain types of furniture. But yeah, we
And appealing to the
go
eye.
into detail.
I have a
That's
question.
good,
I
too.
have a quick question. What do you do if you have a seller or like somebody that is really attached to a piece
Of
and they
furniture?
just like a piece of furniture, an ugly like picture or something that they just don't want to get rid of it? What do you explain to them? How do you approach them and say, hey, this really doesn't go with the like the design we're going for, or how do you approach them?
So I have never had clients like that.
Okay.
Thank God.
Good.
Thank God.
So that would be challenge
Right.
one, but I like challenge. That's okay. But I would say that it's all about educating
Yeah.
a seller, and usually we show them before and after work that we've done. And so far, all the occupied homes that we've staged, the only thing that we got was wow.
That's
And I
awesome.
swear.
Yeah.
Because they
I
don't
mean,
even know
I
they
never
can
got
do it.
complaints from owners who said,
Exactly.
"Oh, you took my this ugly picture
My
and
beautiful
put something
picture."
else."
Yes.
No.
You
That's
actually
just-
had your own personal
yeah.
home.
It's
home
staged.
st-
Yeah, that's
staged
true.
Yeah,
Before
we
you sold it.
Exactly.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So.
And
Let's get
everybody
into
was
the
like,
questions,
wow.
So we don't.
Yeah.
Well,
Come on, Lily.
so okay.
Bring
Let's
it
get
up.
into the questions. So let's say I was a home seller.
Mm-hmm.
I now want to sell my home. Let's take I'm not hiring you as a stager.
Mm-hmm.
What are the top tips that you would give me to get my home ready for sale?
Sure. So we're first gonna start with curb appeal, because that buyer, because before they even get into the property, they're gonna drive by and they're gonna see the exterior of the home, the landscaping, what it looks like. So as a seller, you would want to do pressure washing of your home, taking care of your landscaping, trimming some trees, cutting the trees that maybe are dead or just they don't need to be there. You don't want to clutter the home with greenery. Instead, maybe trim it nicely so you see more of the home than the trees, for example, right? Because sometimes the landscaping can be overgrown. And the front door, right? Because that's the first thing that the buyer is going to come to your front porch, open the front door, so it has to be meticulous. So that's the first impression. So before they even walk inside, you have to give them first impression what it looks from outside. And nowadays, in wholesaling business, right? They drive around and they look for those distressed properties that look like distressed, but in reality, maybe it's not a distressed property. It's
Some
just,
of them are
it's just how the owners
Yeah.
think. I don't need to do anything to my house.
Some of them
right?
are not, and it's just people that just don't take care of their homes.
Right, and then
I
you
have
want
one
top
in front of
dollar for
And then
it.
you know what they're telling? This is Mila's phone number. If you need any
should call her.
assistance, yeah, call her.
I have neighbors that I'm like, can I just give you my gardener information or it's crazy. Like they don't
Right.
really take care of
Yeah.
anything.
Grass, right? Like
Yes.
simple as that.
Or
Yeah.
sometimes it's tenants in there and it's not their
That's
home.
exactly, yeah.
So they don't care.
Yes.
So there's not their home, so they don't really.
But
Yeah.
like what I do, like I have like some rentals too. So what I do with those is that every 6 months I do an inspection, and the inspector charged me like $50 just to go and see like how the house is going and like something like
That's a good idea.
very it's not like super in there like
aesthetically.
checking it everything like how the walls are, like the outside. So they would send me a report, and I'll just check and see how my tenants are going in there.
Exactly.
It's a great idea.
It's a good investment.
Exactly, because
So what
that's
other
what you
tips
need.
can we?
Yes. So then, as we walk into the home, things like smell. That's a second tip, because when they walk into the home, the first thing is going to be the smell. If it doesn't smell good, no matter what it looks like, they're not gonna like it, right? So we usually tell the sellers, if it's nice weather, for example, like right now, open up the windows, open up doors if you have direct flow. A lot of times homeowners don't even realize that there is a certain odor in the house, especially if you have pets.
Or they smell like they smoke in the house. They just don't feel that smell. Like once you go inside and you don't smoke, everything, even the walls stink so bad.
Or certain types of foods that they might
or frying food. Yes, all of that.
So even when we stage homes, we usually put the oil plugins.
Yes.
But at the same time, you don't want to have weird odors in your house and then put a plug-in on top of that to cover it up. No, that's a no. Yeah, it's just gonna ruin everything.
Good tip.
One smell on the other, it just doesn't work.
Yes.
And the next tip would be clean, because there's nothing better than a clean house.
Yes.
If the house is not clean, the buyer is not going to like it. The buyer would not want to envision themselves living in that home. And so clean the house, and then the next tip probably...
Can we just pause there?
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times I've been in a home that needed to be upgraded, clearly needed to be upgraded, but it was just so meticulously maintained. It was so clean that
the clients like it.
And not only that, but it's like, if a house is clean, you can sell your client the vision of, listen, this needs to be upgraded. This is outdated. But you know what? You can take your time doing it. You can actually move in here because you can feel comfortable because you just see how clean it is.
Of course.
Clean is like super important.
Yes.
I think that's like
cleanliness is close to holiness. Remember that.
Yes, especially bathrooms.
Yes.
So
She's like, let me not get into
let's
it.
not even go there.
Because everyone has their own way of cleaning too.
Right. So would you
that's a
recommend
hard
they
topic.
actually hire somebody professional that would be able to see what they're not
Absolutely.
seeing?
Absolutely. But not only that, because if the house is going to get cleaned professionally, and then the owner is going to go back to the habits,
Right.
and then you have a house on the market for a month or so, and then buyers are coming. So what they see on pictures, and when they come to the home, are totally different things. So we always tell the sellers, whatever we did here, please maintain.
Keep
You
it
know,
going.
you cannot just start throwing stuff around. And so that leads us to another tip is decluttering.
Yes.
Decluttering is a major component of home staging and selling a home, because nobody wants to come in and see a mess.
Yes.
Right? Clothing and just random things. And you want to create that feeling of peaceful place where the buyer would want to be and purchase. Because decluttering is also important, because the more things you have, the smaller your place looks. So there is a saying, less is more. Actually, when you have less things, you showcase more of your home than versus when you have, let's say, bulky furniture or too many things in the house. Then the house is going to look smaller, and then the buyer's going to think, well, where am I going to put my sofa now?
It's not going to fit.
So visually, you have to create this picture of giving more space than putting lots of furniture. So that's why when we stage homes, we don't bring a lot of furniture into the house. We use certain amount of furniture just to showcase it, to show the functionality. Okay, this is the dining room, this is the living room, but we don't overcrowd it because you don't want to take away from the space of the home.
Yeah, and I've had great homes, great location and everything, but when you walk in,
It's a mess. You're like,
it's a mess. And honestly, vacant homes or staged homes show 1,000, even vacant ones.
and it's
show,
proven they sell
so
quicker.
they say they sell quicker
They
than
do.
homes that people live in, because it's so they have so much stuff that buyers cannot envision
themselves.
themselves living there. The house is great, the neighborhood is great, but it's just the things that they have inside the house.
Yeah, there is no
Especially, like, you know, a
presentation.
lot of the people are very visual. A lot of people are visual.
Yes.
So they're not investors. You know, investors are like, oh, I don't care how it looks because I know the price, if the price makes sense. But a lot of first-time home buyers or like buyers that are envision that they gotta envision themselves living there.
Like Mila was
Yes.
saying, like the first thing you see is the outside. So when the outside looks terrible, who wants to go inside? I had clients
It's
before
like
that
scary,
we drive by the
scary
house
drive
and they're like,
You're like,
I don't want to
yeah.
go inside.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry, I don't want to go inside.
It starts
So
from there.
exactly,
So
exactly.
that's definitely-
It, like us as realtors too, like we should all advise our sellers when you see something like that outside, we should tell them, hey, you have to pick this up before I list the house, because there is no way this
Oh, no,
this
of
property
course.
like
That's
is gonna
part
sell.
of your
like this.
listing presentation.
Yeah, but some people are not like that.
It should be.
Yeah.
Part of your
Exactly.
listing presentation.
Exactly.
You know,
If you want to sell quicker, though.
If you need any help, go to her boot camp.
Right. We're going to teach you there, new agents. Or even seasoned agents, but you don't know everything, you know. Come through.
Yeah, and I think the last tip would be, so we can move
Yes.
to the next, would be depersonalizing, which means removing all your personal things like photos.
Yeah.
You know, because the buyer, when they come, they don't want to see your family photos, right? They want to see, okay, I want to see my photos on that countertop.
Yes.
So you want to neutralize it, and that's probably what the tips would be.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those are very
Yeah.
valuable tips. Thank you.
Very cool.
Yes.
So-
you're welcome.
I know that we sent you an outline of the questions, right? But after we just had this conversation, when you enter a home,
Mhm.
what happens in the mind of Mila? Like when you're like, you walk into a home and, well, let's say a vacant home,
Right.
because if it's a occupied
When
home,
it's occupied,
things can go
A lot
crazy,
of things
right?
go crazy.
I start shaking.
You walk into a vacant home and you're like,
Help.
El Espíritu Santo takes over you.
Take me back.
What happens in your, like, what is it that, what do you see, like, when you're in a vacant home where, like,
It's a blank canvas.
yes, it's a blank canvas, and now you're like
Your mind starts working.
yeah, are you like picturing,
It's like, how
like
you
you
get
already,
inspired? How do you get
you're visualizing,
So I'm a human being just like everybody else, right? So when I walk into an empty space, I'm just like everybody else.
Lost.
Okay,
Where do I start?
Thank you.
let me focus.
I was the only one.
So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
That's when I go to my house. I'm like, now what?
Yeah, when you walk into unfamiliar space, you can be a genius or whatever you think you are. You're gonna think, okay, all right, let
Where
me
should I
situate
start?
myself. It's a normal situation, and I do the same thing with all the homes, which if I have that feeling, oh my God, what I walked into, why I can't understand this layout, I can only imagine what the buyer's gonna feel like, because it's gonna take me just a few minutes to put it together. I'm like, okay, I know this is I'm gonna put this type of table because my mind starts working.
Yes.
A buyer does not have that
Exactly.
vision. So I can only imagine, oh my God, what are they gonna feel like? And that makes my job, go a certain route. If it's just a simple layout, when I walk in and I already can get situated is one thing. When we have more complex floor plans, especially when it comes to like Florida sunrooms and all those additions in the home, which looks like a maze. It sometimes takes us half an hour or more to walk through the house over and over again. There's a good example when we staged the house when we first started. It was quite a challenge because when we came, the house was built in 1950s and there was so many additions. Oh my God. And the seller told us, okay, just stage the downstairs, like the dining master and living room, like usually, right, those key rooms. And I said, okay. And then we walked upstairs and I got lost. I was walking and walking. I'm like, we got it covered. The downstairs is covered. What are we going to do here?
Yeah.
Wow.
The buyer is just going to get lost. And I said, I'm not even worried about the downstairs right now. I said, what do you want to do with the upstairs? So we ended up staging the whole house because the whole house was just additions and additions and additions.
Okay.
And so that house was sitting on the market for like over 130 days or even more. And then when we staged it, the realtors, as soon as we updated it on Zillow, we started getting phone calls, showings. It sold, I think, within like 10 days.
Wow.
See, that's
You know,
the
it
difference.
made such a
The
difference.
power of staging.
Because the buyer would just not understand. And then the seller put like paper of master bedroom is here, Dan is here, man cave or whatever. This is it doesn't help.
No.
I have a question for someone that wants to sell their house and get it staged. How much would that typically cost?
Oh, you're already jumping into cost.
I mean,
You know,
call me.
they always want to know how much is your commission? How much are you
well, not
going
even, but just if I wanted to sell my house today and I wanted you to come over and stage it.
Yes.
how much
So the way we work, the process of home staging is when you, just like a realtor, if the seller calls you and says, "Hey, I want to list my house. How much is it going to be?" You're not going to say, "I think it's going to be $250,000. Let me come over, look at what you have, do my comparables, and then I'll give you market value price."
Depending on what it needs.
So home staging works the same way. When we come to the house, we have to see the layout. We have to see, because the seller might say, "Hey, I just need 3 rooms staged." But when we walk into the house, it might actually be more, right? So we judge by once we are in the house.
Okay.
Now, I can give you an approximate starting point. So we start at $2,000 for 3 rooms, and that gives you 3 months. So that's a basic staging of a basic price range home, right? If we go more into, let's say, $500,000 homes, because
They're bigger.
the square footage is bigger, usually they're more expensive, more
nooks, cracks.
Yes, and then the style of the home is probably different from a $200,000 home, for example.
Yeah.
So we set the price at that point. So it always depends on the property, price range, square footage, and how many rooms we're staging.
Right.
It's definitely an investment. Like if you want to sell your home quick, if you think that your home needs it, some homes really need it.
Because at the end of the day, you gotta think about it this way. If it's going to take you $2,000 to stage it, but you know you're gonna sell it within 2 weeks, and then you're gonna get over maybe
Before that, you
a
get
good
like
price when they could have discounted you because it didn't look that way, and it's gonna take you 2 months. So how much of overhead are you carrying on by just not doing it?
I think all the properties that we staged with you guys, it was full price. Everything was always
See,
full price.
because if it looks good,
Yeah,
it's easier to sell, and you're gonna get those numbers because it's gonna work at the end of the
So
day.
I think we had a set of questions and an outline, but I'm so excited. And we're all so excited.
Because it's a good subject.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much to cover.
Do you have one?
I have one
Okay,
question.
okay.
What do you think about virtual staging? Because that's very common now with realtors. So the virtual stage, you go to the house, it's empty.
they're lying.
It's deceiving.
It's deceiving. You're lying to
So
me.
what
It
do you
doesn't
think
look
about
like
that?
So, virtual staging, I was never a fan of it because as just a consumer, I'm not even a stager, I would say it's deceiving. So you look at the pictures, okay, they look great, you understand what's happening, and then once you come to the house, the house
is
looks
there.
totally different.
Yeah.
Probably in most cases it's not even professionally cleaned, you know, by that time. So nobody actually walked through that home and said you need to do this and that, because just because it's vacant, it doesn't mean that there are no things that need to be taken care of prior.
That just happened to me
Right?
last weekend. I showed a home that was staged, and yes, it gets the buyer there because you
The
gotta understand that
pictures.
the first thing that they see as a client is the pictures, right?
Yes.
So if the pictures look nice, they're gonna want to go. So it's a good tool to attract them, but then is reality. How are you closing? Are you really going to make them put an offer on the property, which is where real staging comes to place? Because if they go there and they see it's completely different than what they saw in the pictures, it already, first of all, it already upset them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then especially if it doesn't really look like that, and you know this. At the end of the day, as a realtor, you're not gonna get offers on that based on that.
Yes,
You
because
might get more activity, but as an offer at the end of the day,
You're not gonna get it.
You know?
Like they used to call me and say, "Hey, does the house really look like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, the house really looks like that because it's a stage." Because of the virtual staging. You know, like some people just don't believe it, and it's like, she's like,
really
they're
does
really
look
good.
good.
It's all her job. Like, you know, like they did a great job for sure.
because home staging, it's not only about the furniture, it's about creating a feeling.
Yes,
It's all about
That's so
emotions. Yes.
I love it.
Teach me how to feel, girl.
Your home is a reflection of yourself too, you know?
Yes.
And that goes into the last question that I wanted to ask you was going into 2020, you know, what would you say, what tips could you give people to like have their home zen ready, or what can we do to make our home more balanced and like zen to like enter the new year?
Yes. So I think overall, when the time comes to New Year, we all want to make resolutions, right?
Yes.
And it's all about making a change, correct? So you want to change bad habits or, you know, set up new goals. I think when it comes to a home, it's the same thing. It's resolutions that you want to make. So it's the change that you want to make. And a lot of times, for example, in my interior design career now, I realized that right before New Year's, my clients want to do drastic changes in their home, you know, and I think we all feel like that. Like we always want to finish those unfinished things before the year ends, right? Pay off some things before the year ends. So they want to do the same. So that's just psychological that, hey, let me do all these drastic changes like remodeling my kitchen, or it's all about the change.
Right.
So in simple things like maybe even changing the paint color. That's my favorite thing. I always tell all my clients is that color of the paint sets the mood. It makes you, you know, the color makes you feel certain way. And it either makes you feel relaxed and calm, or it feels you more, you know, aggravated or whatever it may be. So I always say start with just repainting, simple as that.
What color is your house?
Inside, interior, it's Pacer white.
There you go.
It's my favorite color.
I was going to tell you, it's hard for me, like I cannot do that, for example, like change the color, because my house, like everything inside my house, like my walls are white, and I like that feeling, and I don't want to change it.
White is a
I
great
have a
color.
white.
I love
I
white.
have a problem
But it's
with
not
wallpaper.
white.
You
It has a word
wallpaper,
white
it's so
in it,
nice.
but it's not white.
Yeah,
It's
maybe like
off-
bathrooms or something like that,
beige.
right? Or something.
Beiges.
A little something.
So
Yeah.
what are the most popular colors for, or
They're
what that
neutrals.
you would recommend?
So I always recommend Pacer white. That's
Yeah.
my number one favorite color, unless my clients want something different. Then I usually use the fan deck, and then we just try to see, you know, if they want to match it to something else. Like for example, I had this client that we're finishing up the kitchen before Christmas, and actually Mo is working on the outside bar now, and it's crazy because they want to finish by the 22nd, so we're all on like on timeline.
That's amazing.
And then so they have this huge, so interior designer 10 years ago designed their living room, and they have this fireplace and huge like a, not concrete, it's like a tile wall, and it's like this yellowish brownish color. And then what they did, they matched laminate floors that they chose prior I started working with them to that wall, and they said, well, we hope like it's not going to be a problem. I said, well, let's see, let's start with
In
certain
your mind,
things,
you were
and
like,
then
it's a huge problem.
and then in my mind I'm like, that color is gonna go. You don't know, but I'm gonna remove that tile. So we painted the house Pacer white. Oh my god, like it made such a huge difference.
Wow.
I can't wait for before and after photos.
How do I spell it? Pacer?
Pacer, Pacer.
Okay.
Pacer white.
I'm going.
It's Sherwin-Williams, but the trick is you can go to Home Depot and they'll match it. And
Yeah.
it's usually
Okay,
cheaper.
I have a question. For this 2020, what do you see the trend going? Like, we
Where are
saw
the
a lot
colors?
of gray and whites. We saw like now the browns are coming back.
Yes, they are.
And what do you see the
I
2020
don't know.
going to? I love the browns too.
I
The brown
don't.
has a gray in it.
You
So-
don't know.
Doesn't
It
do
depends on the
brown.
brown. Like
Earthy
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Earthy colors are nice. I know you like gray,
Yes, I like
but
red,
still
white.
light gray, still
Yes.
earthy,
Yeah.
and it's still calming and relaxing color. I usually don't look at trends because you know I work with different type of clients. I work with clients who like eclectic style,
feeling.
a lot
Like,
of
yeah,
orange,
exactly.
blue, green, and purple on top of that. But overall, I tend to go for neutral colors.
Yes.
You know, like off-white.
Don't
It's
bring
very
things
easy
together.
colors to play with. It matches everything and it sets the mood.
And you can
and
do
it's-
pops of color with furniture and stuff,
Correct.
right? So you don't necessarily have to make the wall red. Like
Like
my
Yes.
house when I bought it, listen, all the walls were orange. and the garage and the main door were red, and the house was red.
You know what
Like,
happens
like,
when
what
you
is this?
follow trends in the 80s?
Yeah,
That
and
was like the
like,
green
oh, so
carpet, red, red
But
walls.
see, it's easier to like
Yeah.
change
That's
something.
happens
It's
to follow
easier to
trends.
change a piece of furniture than
Mhm.
to do every, you know.
Throw the whole
So
house away.
that always gives it a pop of color, but like try to keep your stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
Right.
neutral color furniture, let's say like
Yes.
this, also sets the mood. It
Yes.
makes the space look bigger.
Big.
If you put darker sofa in the room, automatically your eyes draw to it, and you feel like, oh, it's such a big piece, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
how the room looks smaller. So those
Yeah.
tricks that colors play with our mind.
Mind.
It's powerful, and a lot of times when we purchased our home, we had like 50 shades of gray, and we're not talking about like that nice light gray, like
Well, do you
all
still
colors
keep the
of
50
gray.
shades, but in a different way?
They have a room for that.
That's where she has the red room.
Sorry, but I had to say it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so
She got like distracted for
Okay.
a little bit.
We're gonna get into we're probably gonna end up cutting this a little short, but
Yeah.
we want to get into everyone's favorite style of home.
What's
But-
your home style?
But before we get into that, Mila, I want you to we understand that staging brings value in the eyes of a buyer. How do you present value to a seller when you're trying to get them to hire a stager or a staging company? How do we as realtors and
question.
you know, I mean,
Sure.
yeah, I'm going to count you in. As realtors, how do we create, you know, value for the
Urgency,
seller?
value.
You know,
Yes.
to hire a staging company to help us sell the home quicker.
Right. So I'm not a teacher of selling techniques. I'm not good at sales, but there are certain things I think that make sense. So first of all, our target is the buyer. That's who we cater to, and I understand that sellers are the ones who paying for it, or sometimes it's realtors who pay for the staging. But ultimately, the goal of the seller and realtor is to sell the home in the shortest period of time.
For the most amount
Right?
of money.
Yeah.
Because if that home sits on the market for a long time, X amount of time, it costs the seller
Every month.
maintenance,
Yeah.
mortgage payment, electricity, utilities, whatever you name it,
Exactly.
property taxes, everything counts, interest rates, everything counts. And then if that's not enough, because if combined all those bills that the seller is paying every month while that property is sitting on the market, I think that the cost of staging is way less than
Than
what
waiting.
it would cost them
to wait.
over time to sell that
Absolutely.
property.
That's so true.
Absolutely.
That's what I was
Mhm.
telling
Yeah.
you. Going back to what I was saying, like if the overhead of like is gonna take you instead of 2 weeks, 3 months. What is the cost of those 3 months of sitting in the
Yes.
market? You know, that's
A
what the
lot.
seller has to.
Yeah, I love how you take that personal, emotional part out of it and focus just the business part. Like, hey, this is going to be better for you as an investment. It's going to be better for your realtor. Just the basics.
The point is
Yes.
selling, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really for the seller to stay there or for their liking. It's for the house to sell quick. Right?
Exactly.
That's what it's.
That's
And
the
it's all
idea.
about the
Yeah.
presentation.
Yes.
you
It's
know?
about the presentation. That's correct. Because if, like you guys were saying, if buy like everything, like you see, and if it's attractive, they're gonna like it. So when they come inside the house and they see this beautiful staging by Neela, everybody's gonna be like, "Wow! Like I want to put an offer in this house
Everything
because
comes
they,
through the eyes,
they,
you know.
yeah,
Even
like
food. That's
they
why
get they
use
get
food
all
to make
these
it.
they get all these
Of
different
course.
details that they. Oh, I can use this room for this. I can use this space for this. So they know how to work the spaces, and that gives a better idea for the buyers for those properties.
Definitely.
So let's
Steph.
start, Steph. What is your home style?
Okay, so I
Decoration style.
what I like to mix opposites always. So I love, very, very neutral, very clean, very white, minimalistic, but I like to throw textures on top of that. So let's say my couch, white, right? Everything's white, walls are white, furniture's white, it's like shiny white, all of that stuff. It looks very clean, but then, like brown fur, like blankets or pillows and like textured stones, stuff like that. I like to mix that.
Okay.
I like that.
Whitney?
That's
What about
literally
you?
my
I feel like I like modern chic. I like I love a pop of color. Like my last place, I had a purple wall, or more sort of like lavender, but I love a pop of color. I love Z Gallery. They have the best, I feel like, frames, couches.
Glam, you like glam.
Glam, yes. So that's really a lot of my style. I like.
Gabby?
I think I like Zen. You know, like if you go to my house, like Buddhas and stuff, and like neutral colors. I just like want my house to have like a clean, pure energy, you know, where I can feel like I can concentrate, I can relax. So I don't like a lot of color because I think it like gives it a mood. It gives me a mood, and because colors are moody, right? So I don't want to pick the wrong color. So I just want a place where it's like basically like my sanctuary, you know, where I go to like relax and decompress. So I want it to be like easy going, flowing, and I love Balinese and Thai architectures or pieces to add to my decoration. So that's my thing. Yeah, but being modern too.
Me, I feel like I like anything that looks royal.
Yeah.
Oh no, we don't know that.
Nothing wrong with that.
So what is royalty?
Like royalty style.
I think you have that red chair. I feel
my love. French
Baroque?
I like antique
Yes.
pieces.
Like
I definitely love like a modern, clean look, but I like to throw like antique pieces
She likes
in.
opulence.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
good
I love
one.
that
That's a
word.
word.
You know I like that word. Yeah, so, and I do love like pops of color everywhere. That's just, but yeah, royal gold, like bright colors with gold and
Very simple.
yeah, not simple. So expressive, it shows in my.
What about you, Mila?
So as a designer, I like all kinds of designs in homes,
As
right?
Neela.
Because but as me personally,
Yes.
to
For your
me,
own.
my home represents peace.
Okay.
I want
Yes.
to come to my sanctuary and feel like don't feel overwhelmed because we have enough of stress outside of our homes, right? We mostly spend our time somewhere outside at work, with driving in traffic, whatever it is. I want to come to my home and I want it to resemble peace. So, for example, in my home, I have neutral colors, you know, and I usually use couple tones. For example, I have off-white walls, and then my sofa, you know, also is like off-white, and then I just use, like you said, textured pillows, but they're not bright colors, right? And then I like, for example, combining blue, because blue represents calmness and tranquility. So like some of our artwork is more of like water and those type of pictures, for example, but not too overwhelming. But I do like some statements, like for example, a chandelier. Like I have this geometric shape chandelier that
It's
makes a
beautiful.
statement.
I was obsessed with it. I saw a picture of it, and it's beautiful.
So just like a little pop. So in my opinion, that to me a pop versus if I had like a red pillow on my sofa. You know, like I like more like materials like
I think our styles are the
chrome,
same.
gold,
Our styles are
champagne.
That's
very
why I need a
similar.
stage.
What about you, AC?
So I think I'm between Steph and Gabby. Like I bought my first home last year.
Congratulations.
But it's my home, but it's not because it's an investment property. So I cannot put it as I want it to
Don't
be.
think like an investor.
No, I just literally we just changed the floors, and the next step is the bathroom and the kitchens, and then we're gonna sell it. That's our goal. And then when I get my dream home, I'm gonna call you. And I really like the neutral colors. I like the Zen. I like the Buddha. So that's kind of my style. Like I want to go in my house. I like less is more for me.
Yes.
I hate the clutter.
I
I,
like
don't
that,
like any
yeah.
of that. So for me, less is more.
Yeah,
That's
I
kinda
feel
my
the
style.
same way too. Like I want something like very like less is more. Clean colors, everything like the minimalistic type of thing too. Maybe some like pillows that are gonna be popping out the colors and stuff like that. I like golds. I like whites. I like chandeliers. I like, you know, like beautiful chandeliers with crystals coming down, and that's it.
Me too. I incorporate both.
Super
you know?
simple.
I incorporate both because I have like a
You had your turn.
chandelier. Yeah.
Don't add any more.
I need
Mila in this group. We need Mila in this group.
Yeah.
your turn.
Well, I think it's been long enough.
I wanna say something super cool though. We like all sitting here and we're all from different countries.
We are.
Amazing.
Yes.
Nicaragua,
USA.
Jacksonville, Guatemala, Jacksonville, USA, Jacksonville,
Dominican
Nicaragua,
Republic.
Guatemala, Dominicana, Russian, Venezolana, and Colombian.
Colombia.
All right.
All the United Nations.
Thank you so much, Mila. It was a pleasure to
you.
have you.
I had so much
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you. Thank
It was
you.
amazing.
We
Thank
learned
you
a
so
lot.
much.
Thank you for this.
I can come back again.
No, we're coming to you guys. We're gonna be hosting our podcast out of your
Oh, I
you.
forgot to
Thank
mention about the YouTube channel.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's the last thing.
Tell them where to
plug
follow
it.
you.
To finish up, to wrap up this year.
Your Instagram, your website, your
She already did
YouTube.
that. She did
No,
that.
that's the
One
YouTube.
more
But
time,
I'm gonna
one more time,
repeat.
one more
But
time.
one more thing that we started our YouTube channel. It's called Fixer Upper Realtors. I don't know why I'm looking that way.
Because it's your phone.
Yeah, because I'm used to talk to my phone when we videotape. So it's Fixer Upper Realtors. It's our YouTube channel, and the goal of our channel is we transform homes, distressed properties in Orlando and Central Florida. So to say, we flip them. So we show the entire process from A to Z, what it takes to flip a house, from purchasing, renovating it, staging it, listing it, selling it, and then figuring out what the hell we did wrong, and then we're just gonna do it again. So it's
Nice.
fun. We just started. Tomorrow we're gonna do our second episode, and we're gonna do it on a weekly basis. So subscribe. It's Fixer Up Realtors on YouTube. And again, my Instagram page is Orchid Home Staging. That's for the staging company. Designed by Mila is my interior design page, and email address, right? Oh, yes, email address is designedbymilallc@gmail.com. And website is orchidhomestaging.com for home staging, and for the interior design, it's designedbymila.com. And I think it's going to be all written down.